Rental, racing across America, is being presented by Visa. Welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place in Southern California, and the host site for this afternoon's live thoroughbred racing doubleheader. And for the first time in 1996, hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to our 12th year of thoroughbred racing on ESPN. Our 96 schedule will take us racing across America. Some of the features: 15 hours of Kentucky Derby Week coverage from Churchill Downs. Of course, across the seas, our usual trip to Ireland for the Budweiser Irish Derby, and a new stop for us, historic Sportsman's Park for the Rich Illinois Derby. Let's take a look at our first race card of the year. A little bonus for you: the Santa Catalina, run earlier today for 3-year-olds, will be shown on tape, then live. The Hutcheson from Gulfstream in South Florida, and of course our feature here, the Strub. And joining me now, as he has every year of racing across America, Dave Johnson. Dave, a new year, and in this sport, new hope.
And Chris, with 3-year-olds revving up on both coasts, reality will take the place of hope as the performances on the racetrack. Give us a picture as who's actually going to jump on that rocky road to the Triple Crown. Now, in the east at Gulfstream Park, the Hutcheson today in just a few minutes, then the Fountain of Youth, and then the Florida Derby. Now, here in the west, there are 4 key races for 3-year-olds, all leading up to the Santa Anita Derby in early April. And then, of course, to the Triple Crown, which is exclusively for 3-year-olds.
Well, more on the sophomores in a moment, but they have to wait their turn for the older horses here. Let's set our conditions for our feature today, the 49th running of the Strub, named in honor of the founding family of Santa Anita. It's grade 1, $500,000 in the purse. It's a 1.25 miles for 4-year-olds, and Dave, that is part of the uniqueness of the Strub, only for 4-year-olds.
A very interesting trio of races on the dirt here in Southern California at this time of year. The 7-furlong Malibu, then the 1.125 San Fernando, all culminating today in the 1.25 Strub, a series for 4-year-olds this year for crop of 1992. But after today, Chris, they have to take their shots against the older stars in open competition.
Well, let's meet the 4-year-olds now. The field for the 1996 Strub.
Well, we start with a pair of French breds. Golden Steel with Corey Nakatani starts at 7-2. Pinfloron with Russell Bays at 8. Afternoon Delights, Hero of the Malibu, morning line favorite at 5-2. The winner of the San Fernando, Helmsman, top weight, 122 pounds. Chris McCarron, second choice at 3-1. Mr. Purple, a long shot at 15. The Key Rainbow with that dangerous combination of trainer Bobby Frankel and jockey Gary Stevens starts at 7-2. Score Quick, a long shot with Renee Douglas at 20. Mighty McGee, an Invader from New York, the only supplement in the race. And Once for the Road, and a late change of jockeys. Chris Antley was just replaced a minute ago by Lafitte Pinkai Jr. Not a bad substitution.
Not bad at all, Dave. You know, an interesting note on this race: 7 of the 9 in this field came out of one prep, to San Fernando. And if you're looking for some crossovers of grass to dirt, many of those. 3, in fact, making just their second start on the main track today, and a third making a third start. So really, these are horses, though, that still have a chance, but maybe not the favorite.
But the favorite is Afternoon Delights. And after 7 months on the shelf, he came roaring back to competition December 26th. And at 4-5, he goes on to score by 2. Score Quick finished second after attending some fast fractions. Now, in the 1.125 San Fernando, Helmsman, also the favorite, overcame a bad start. Watch him on the outside in the blinkers there. 5 wide at the head of the stretch and on to victory. And 6 horses who finished in his wake, Chris, are here this afternoon, including the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finishers.
Well, that's a quick setup of our 4-year-olds running in our feature, the Strub. We'll be right back, though, to start with the sophomores. We'll show you the Santa Catalina. We're underway from Santa Anita, out of the starting gate for thoroughbred racing on ESPN in 1996. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America, is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. This Bud's for you. Your Allstate agent for home, auto, life, and business insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by Wittenauer watches, the perfect balance of hand craftsmanship and advanced technology. Wittenauer, the watchmaker's watch. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America, is being presented by Visa. As we welcome you back to Santa Anita, Chris Lincoln along with Dave Johnson. And before we get into some of our live race action, a race earlier this afternoon at Santa Anita is worth taking another look at, Dave. The Santa Catalina for 3-year-olds.
And the key here is that it's around 2 turns, many of them going around 2 turns for the first time, and the distance, they're stretching out 1.16 miles.
Here's the field now, the Santa Catalina.
Smithfield, trained by Charlie Whittingham, 5-1. Ali Robb, the 6-5 favorite with Chris McCarron, has won 2 of his 3 starts. O'Dial with Late Speed, Kent DeSormo, 7-1. 4-star attraction, a long shot, Prince of Thieves from the D. Wayne Lucas barn, and Matty G, second choice at 9-5. Winner of the Hollywood Futurity by 7 last out in December.
Let's pick up the race now on the backstretch. One is the 3rd today. It's Matty G, the Hollywood Futurity winner, and Smithfield dueling for the lead. This will pick up the call with Trevor Denman at the quarter pole of the Santa Catalina.
They come to the quarter pole, and Matty G is now sent on his way, and it's Matty G a length and a half in front. Smithfield comes back at the rail. Prince of Thieves has to do a little better. Ali Robb on the grandstand side heads a turn for home, and Matty G is the leader. Smithfield at the rail, Ali Robb on the grandstand side, and Prince of Thieves re-rallying and coming gamely, one from the outside. Prince of Thieves, Matty G, Smithfield at the rail, 3 of them battle it out. Prince of Thieves now starts to pull clear, and Prince of Thieves has won the Santa Catalina. Smithfield second, Matty G ahead back there.
Well, the white bridle will tell you all you need to know. That is a D. Wayne Lucas trained, a new 3-year-old for him. Prince of Thieves, ridden by Gary Stevens, beats out Smithfield and Matty G for the victory. So D. Wayne Lucas is another one, and Dave, many of these headed on the road to the Triple Crown.
Yeah, let's take a look at a few of the names of those from the West Coast who are prominent in the 3-year-old ranks. First of all, A Fleet Affair, second Honor and Glory last out, possible for the San Vicente on February the 10th. Also pointing for that race, Ayrton S. And Cavalier, winner of the El Camino Real, possible for the San Rafael on March the 2nd. And trainer Cesar Dominguez has high hopes for a horse called Odin's Primo. And at the Lucas Barn, in addition to the winner of the Santa Catalina, Hennessy, not sure where he'll show up. Honor and Glory possible in the San Rafael.
One postscript to that, Larry the Legend won the Santa Catalina last year, then went on to win the Santa Anita Derby. And joining me now, the President Chief Operating Officer of Santa Anita, and the man who's taking credit for the weather today even, Cliff Goodrich. Cliff, what a great day of racing. You heard Dave talk about all those great 3-year-olds coming out of California. Got to feel good they're running at Santa Anita.
We really are, and as usual, it's a little early in the year, but I think we got a lot of good ones, and they'll sort themselves out. And I think the 3-year-olds excite the fans, so we're looking forward to the winter and the spring.
And a great cooperation between racetracks in Southern California bought us a terrific bonus. Let's talk about the new MGM bonus.
Well, basically, the winner's share is $600,000 in each of the 3 races, the handicap, the Gold Cup, and the Pacific Classic. And added to that, MGM has arranged for a $2 million bonus to the horse that sweeps all 3. So a horse could walk away with a $3.8 million paycheck, which would be something.
And the race has attracted, it looks like, a commitment from Cigar.
Alan Paulson was on the phone the other day at the press conference, and if he comes out of the Florida race okay, I think his plans are to run Cigar here in the handicap. So we're excited about that, and obviously our fans are too.
Beth, you've got a busy week as president of the TRA down the road in San Diego, the 25th TRA convention.
Well, and we're looking forward to it. We've got almost every major racetrack back in the TRA now after a difficult couple of years, and I think the group is more focused, and I think everybody's looking forward to getting down to San Diego away from the cold weather.
Looking forward to that, and I know something else will make Mr. Goodrich smile. Take a look at this crowd here at Santa Anita today. They're jammed here for Strub Day at Santa Anita. We're glad you've joined us, too. It's a beautiful day. Here's the winner's circle, the Santa Catalina. We welcome you back to our first telecast of a new year in thoroughbred racing on ESPN. We're going to start up now with the first of our coast-to-coast thoroughbred racing live doubleheader, and that's going to South Florida for the Hutcheson Stakes. Here are the conditions for the Hutcheson. It is the 43rd running, $75,000 in this grade 2. 7 furlongs for 3-year-olds, fast racetrack. Dave Johnson, the field.
Premier Majesty with Julie Crone is a long shot, breaking from the inside, 25-1. Just a minute or so before post time. Gold Fever, who ended the season sprinting with 2 impressive victories. Jerry Bailey, 5-1. 1-5, the price on Unbridled Song, who is making his 96th debut, winner of the $1 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile last out. Mike Smith rides the heavy favorite. Annotate with Herb McCauley as a former claimer running against the big boys, and Appealing Skier, who had 3 wins in 4 starts but finished a disappointing 12th in the Breeders' Cup with Rick Wilson aboard, is the second choice at 2-1. Let's take a look at what happened in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last October at Belmont Park. On the inside is Unbridled Song. On the outside is Hennessy. And this was amazing because here's a horse on the inside, Unbridled Song, who had shown a lot of early speed, found himself 5th down the backstretch, but then showed a lot of class, coming through on the inside to win it on the rail, and stamps himself as a good one. In fact, the Kentucky Derby favorite this early in the year.
He is, Dave, the winner book favorite. And, of course, he also carries the heavy mantle of being the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner. No Cup winner has ever gone on to win the Roses. And Jim Ryerson has just a few other concerns as we talked to the trainer and asked him just what he hopes to get out of today's Hutcheson.
Well, the 7 furlong race for us is an ideal spot to start him back. It's a distance that he'd be comfortable with the first time back, and it also would be enough of a race to go forward and go 2 turns in the Fountain of Youth, and he's never gone 2 turns, so this is an ideal spot for us to get a good race in him. Hopefully he'll run well. Hopefully he'll win, but it's a good race to go on from.
Well, his jockey Mike Smith has just been raving about his works in South Florida. He's put bullets all over the track there. They're behind the gate getting ready now. And what about this Appealing Skier? You're familiar with him.
The fastest 2-year-old 6 furlongs in the history of the Meadowlands last year. Disappointed in the Breeders' Cup. Don't know whether he didn't like the distance or the track condition or what. But his trainer, Ben Perkins Sr., is very good with horses coming off a layoff. And if anybody's going to beat Unbridled Song this afternoon, I think it might be Appealing Skier.
They're loading up. Let's go to South Florida. Gulfstream and Tom Durkin.
Moving in. Appealing Skier to complete the field of 5. They're in the gate. And they're off. Appealing Skier bounces right out on the lead. Premium Majesty came out running in second. Unbridled Song off to a good beginning. Very eager today, and Mike Smith takes a hard hold. The outside, Annotate and Gold Fever's at the back of the pack. Out of the chute and onto the main track now. And Appealing Skier is the leader and doing it rather easily. Mike Smith unhurried with Unbridled Song, sitting comfortably in second. Then Annotate and Gold Fever and Premier Majesty at the back of the pack. A rather temperate first quarter here of 23 2/5 seconds. Appealing Skier breezing along. Unbridled Song kept close striking range second. 3 lengths back to Gold Fever, who's down inside. Annotate now 5 lengths from the front. Premier Majesty falling farther behind. Around the far turn, it's still Appealing Skier in front. Now Mike Smith says go with Unbridled Song on the chase with 3 furlongs to go. Appealing Skier still holding the lead. Unbridled Song right there, second on the outside. Gold Fever within striking range, third toward the rail as the field nears the top of the stretch. It's still Appealing Skier in front. Unbridled Song poised for the stretch drive now. The rail opens up for Gold Fever. They're coming down to the final furlong. It's Appealing Skier. Appealing Skier still holding on to the lead. Unbridled Song called on for more, but still running second. 16th pole. Appealing Skier trying to hold up Unbridled Song. And here's the line, and Appealing Skier, yes, holds on to win, to pull it off over Unbridled Song. A hard-charging second at the end. Gold Fever winds up third. The final time was 1:24.3.
Well, from 12th, beaten more than 30 lengths in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Appealing Skier is back to the winner's circle, Dave, in his 3-year-old debut.
He's going to make some noise. Whether he'll go 1.25 miles is another question, but let's take a look at him again. You heard Jim Ryerson say, we think he'll run a good race, but, well, this afternoon, Unbridled Song made a big return to the races, but not big enough to beat Appealing Skier, who was beautifully conditioned by Ben Perkins Sr., who has a knack, about a 50% knack, I think, of coming back with horses off a long layoff, and Rick Wilson rode this horse beautifully.
So it is Appealing Skier upsetting the favorite Unbridled Song in the Hutcheson as you see him come to the wire. We'll be right back at Santa Anita after this. Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America, 1996 edition, presented by Visa. Now, I don't want to make you feel any worse than you already feel, freezing to death and digging out around the country, but I just want to tell you, it's gorgeous here. I mean, temperatures in the 70s, sunny skies, light breeze, and a fast racetrack for today's Strub. Let's first wrap up our Hutcheson coverage for you from South Florida. This is unofficial now. It's Appealing Skier defeating the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Unbridled Song with Gold Fever third. That, again, unofficial results from Gulfstream. Well, we're not far from Anaheim and the Pond, and that will be the site of ESPN's Sunday night National Hockey League action as the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks, play host to the Chicago Blackhawks. That's 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on ESPN. Well, let's take another closer look at that Hutcheson finish with Dave Johnson.
Appealing Skier had it his own way early in the contest with an easy first quarter of 23-2 and the half in 47-1. He was back on the front end, on the engine as he likes to be. And then Unbridled Song, Mike Smith at 1-5, really trying to cut into that margin. But by then it was all over. Appealing Skier wins his 4th race out of 5 starts and becomes a horse to be reckoned with, especially at shorter distances.
And we'll be in Florida in about 3 weeks for our next major 3-year-old race, the Fountain of Youth. We hope to see some of these same horses there, along with El Cobra King, the recent Holy Bull winner. And how about another one to throw in, Victory Speech for D. Wayne Lucas. Unleashed him today, and he won an allowance race there by 12 lengths to go along with Prince of Thieves winning the Santa Catalina earlier today for Team Lucas. Now here are the official prices. Appealing Skier returning 560, 260, and 210 over Unbridled Song. Gold Fever at 210, 124, and 3. That's the time for the Hutcheson. Well, time to focus back now on our main event today. Here it is the Strub Stakes, run as the 5th race at Santa Anita this afternoon. And the big favorite, certainly without any question, has to be Afternoon Delights. We're going to take a closer look at the favorite now. He is the pride and joy, the delight, if you will, of his celebrity owner, composer Burt Bacharach. He should be. He's earned more than $750,000 for him. Afternoon Delights has made his name on Southern California racetracks. A perfect 3 for 3 at 2. He came to the Santa Anita Derby on a 5-race win streak. And what a battle with Larry the Legend to the wire.
And down the stretch they come, the undefeated Afternoon Delights with Kenta Sormo digging in on the inside. On the outside, Larry the Legend inching up into the 2nd spot. Far outside, Jumron through the stretch and to the wire. It's going to be a photo. Too tight to call.
After losing that photo, Afternoon Delights went to the Kentucky Derby. Following a disappointing 8th-place finish, a tendon injury was found that ended his 3-year-old year. The trainer, Dick Mandela, always felt this colt had a lot going for him.
He's gifted that he can really run. He's got a lot of courage. He's smart, sound. Other than he stretched a tendon in Kentucky, but other than that, he's a basically very sound horse. He's just got all the things that it takes to be a good horse.
And he proved that again in his comeback effort, the Malibu Stakes, off a 7-month layoff.
Yeah, it worked out well. You know, anytime you win a Group 1 race, you've done something. So it speaks for itself that we're winning that race. It was a good bunch of horses. He relaxed nice and rated back off the pace and came and outran him the last quarter mile. And that was all in preparation for the Strub and the handicap and what our plans are for the future.
Afternoon Delights owner, award-winning composer Burt Bacharach, is just glad to have his West Virginia bred back on the track.
Burt actually is just, I believe he truly appreciates the fact that they are back. You know, he's been in the horse business long enough and had enough of them to know when they get hurt or have injuries, you're lucky when they come back and they're in good shape. And I think he does feel like he's fortunate to just have him back playing the game at the level we are, and very excited with it.
Well, Burt, part of this big crowd here today, and it was a big weekend, in fact, for Burt Bacharach. He was looking for another one of his horses to bounce back. Soul of the Matter had not raced since the Breeders' Cup. He was back in Saturday's San Antonio. A Grade 2 event here worth $300,000 at 1 1/8. Dave Johnson has a closer look at a great stretch run.
It sure was, Chris. On a muddy track, a field reduced to 5 after a couple scratches. Turning for home, on the outside, the Roan Alphabet Soup. You saw Soul of the Matter on the inside. Darren Go and Patio de Naranjas had set the early fractions, but they faded out of it, and it turned into a quarter-mile match race. On the inside, Soul of the Matter carrying 2 pounds more than Alphabet Soup on the outside. Stride for stride. Then about 70 yards to the finish, Soul of the Matter on the inside with Gary Stevens. Looked like he was going to win it, but watch the strong finish of Chris Antley on the outside. Alphabet Soup now has 3 wins in a row, taking yesterday's San Antonio in a thriller.
I'm sure Bert had to be proud, though. Great effort by Soul of the Matter. And now another one of his comeback stars on the track today. As you see the official results of Saturday's San Antonio Alphabet Soup, returning $6. Soul of the Matter second, Dare and Go third. And now it's Afternoon Delight's turn from the back rack stable, wearing the light blue with the royal blue musical notes. We'll be right back. In the back, the call to the post for the 49th running of the Strub Stakes here at Santa Anita. And the horses are making their way towards the main track here. And we want to invite you to join us on Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern time to wrap up all of horse racing for you. It's our Racehorse Digest on ESPN, Thoroughbred, Standardbred, and Quarter Horses, all on the Racehorse Digest. Now let's update the odds for you of the Strub Stakes here at Santa Anita. And the odds presented by Auto Tote. Take a look at Golden Shield at 6. In Florida, Big Price, Afternoon Delights is at 2. The favorite, Helmsburg, getting a lot of support at 7-2. There's Mr. Purple at 14. On with our field of 9. Key Rainbow at 3. Big Prices on Score Quick. And Once for the Road of the New York Shipper, Mighty McGee, is being held at 9-1. We present now the post parade for the 1996 Strub Stakes. The one horse is Gold and Steel, a French import making his second start on dirt after a good second of the San Fernando. Rodney Rash trains for Gary Tanaka. The rider, Corey Nakatani, won the Strub in '93 and has been second the last 2 years. The two horse is Pin Florin. Won his first start on the dirt at Bay Meadows in a stake in December. He is another French import. Ran 6th in the San Fernando, the prep for the Strub. Walter Greenman sends it out. The rider is Russell Bays, one of the stars from Northern California. He'll get a special eclipse this year. The 3, the race favorite, Burt Bacharach's Afternoon Delights. This is the Grade 1 Malibu winner, has won 6 of 8 starts with 1 second. Still people question, can he do the 1.25 mile distance? Kent DeSomo won the Strub in 1992 on Best Pal. The 4 horse, a $165,000 Keeneland Sale yearling. This is Helmsman from the barn of Wally de Lasse. Won the second leg of the Strub, the San Fernando, never worse than second in all 5 U.S. starts. He was Ireland's top-rated juvenile in '94. Hall of Famer Chris McCarron, 2-time winner of the Strub, has the assignment. The 5 is Mr. Purple. 4th in the San Fernando in his 4-year-old debut. Finished in the top 3 in 8 of 11 stakes last year. Alex Solis, the rider, he won last year's Strub on Dare and Go. The 6 is the Key Rainbow from Bobby Frankel's barn, Irish-bred runner from France. Coming from Frankel's stable, he was 3rd in the San Fernando, making his dirt debut. Gary Stevens, one of the nation's leading riders, but 0 for 9 in the Strub, is in the irons. The 7 is Score Quick from Mel Studi's stable. $20,000 2-year-old in training purchase, has won over $264,000. First or second in his last 6 starts of '95. Renee Douglas, taking over for an injured Gonzalo Alameda, is the rider. The 8 horse, a $22,000 Keeneland yearling sales bargain. This is Mighty McGee, the East Coast Invader front-running stakes winner. Just won last month's Grade 3 Aqueduct Handicap. Eddie Delahousse has the ride, the Hall of Famer, in his 16th Strub. And rounding out the field, Once for the Road, 3rd in last year's Cinema and Affirmed Handicap, won the Pomona Derby in his last start. 4-year-old season opener. He was 7th in the San Fernando. The rider substituting for Chris Antley is Lafitte Pinkai, 5-time winner of the Strub Stakes. Well, there is the field. Interestingly, Afternoon Delights, I guess he knows he's the star. He just kind of stopped for a moment and said, all you lessers go on by. And there's a good shot of Afternoon Delights and Burt Bacharach Silks, the light blue with the dark blue musical notes. Well, there is one prep race that really has had an impact on the Strub Stakes. And for a closer look at that, let's join the man who'll be calling the Strub for us, Trevor Denman.
No doubt the horse to beat this afternoon is Afternoon Delights. But if one is looking for someone to beat him, a very good reference marker would be the San Fernando Stakes. It was run 3 weeks ago right here at Santa Anita, just a furlong shorter than today's race, and 7 of those runners are involved in today's Strub. And it was a very eventful race. First of all, the start. Watch the horse coming out of the number 4 stall in the red colors. That's the Key Rainbow. Breaks awkwardly, is off balance, and drops all the way back to last. And then going into the first turn, watch the horse in white just behind the leaders. They're very tight up there, and Russell Bays, the rider of Pin Florin, has to check severely, losing crucial ground. And the real setup comes at the quarter pole. Watch just behind the leaders on the inside in the red, that's the Key Rainbow. Alongside of him in the white, Pin Floron. They both have absolutely nowhere to go. Extreme Outside is the winner, Helmsman, and alongside of him, Golden Steel. They lost valuable ground, but got that all-important momentum going. The Key Rainbow manages to get out a little at the 8th pole, but it's really not until the 16th pole that Gary Stevens looks to his left, sees a hole, drops onto the rail, and the Key Rainbow can then really stretch out, but it's too late, and he has to settle for 3rd. So Afternoon Delight's the horse to beat today, but given the result of that San Fernando and the trouble lines, he could have his hands full in today's Strub Stakes.
Good look at the San Fernando, and there's a good look at the winner of that race, Helmsman. Dave Johnson with some more on Wally Delassie's colt.
Yeah. Well, the Strub will be just the 2nd start on the dirt for Helmsman, whose first effort was that victory in the San Fernando. Now, trainer Wally Delassie bought the colt in Europe after 5 starts across the pond, and he says that he is definitely a product of his foreign upbringing.
The horse is learning to rate, and that's what they do. They teach him over there how to rate. And so I've got that advantage. He is rateable. The problem is if the pace is slow, he'll run over the top of him. And we ran into that situation last time in the San Fernando, and we were lucky to get out. And then when he got out, he made a heck of a move down the stretch. But he's a typical European horse, the way he's been trained. And most of them all cover up and then make a run. And he's that way.
Helmsman also owns a win and 2 seconds in graded stakes on the grass. And Delassie is looking to take advantage of his colt's flexibility.
Yes, definitely. You know, we'll see how good he is. In other words, if he keeps doing what he's doing, you know, I'll be running where the money is.
And today, $500,000 of that money is here in the Strub. And by the way, Wally Delassie said his biggest concern is the distance, because Helmsman rates very well, but he doesn't completely relax. In fact, if he relaxed, he'd probably be a star at 1.5 miles.
Okay, Wally Delassie, though, you're coming from a hot barn. He's won 4 of the first 5 stakes he's entered in this meeting so far at Santa Anita. He is really rolling right now. Helmsman carries his hopes today. While they're parading towards the gate, we'll be back with more on our Strub Stakes coverage from Santa Anita. Welcome back to Santa Anita, where we are 4 minutes away from post time from the running of the Strub Stakes. And we'll take a look at the latest odds here at the track and see if they jive with some of your selections in this race. Golden Steel at 5-1 on the rail. Pin Florin at 17. Here is your race favorite, Burt Bacharach's Afternoon Delights at 9-5. Helmsman, just heard Wally Delassie talking about him, is 7-2 and a solid second choice. Mr. Purple is at 16, maybe a bit of an overlay there for a good colt. The Key Rainbow is 3-1, getting quite a bit of support. Score Quick at 40. Here's Mighty McGee from New York at 8, and Once for the Road, one of the biggest prices at 80. Well, we've talked about the favorites, but as always, we look for some value in a race for you, and Dave Johnson set to premiere the 1996 Budweiser Long Shot.
First Bud Long Shot of 1996. We want to strike fast. We want to cash now. We want to score quick. Yeah, we want to score quick. He promises to be quick out of the gate, and his trainer Mel Stute won the Strub in 1987 with a horse who had the same racing style, Snow Chief.
Yes, he goes to the front. He doesn't want to give up. He tries hard. He's a little bigger than Snow Chief was, so that gives me a little more hope for him to go the 1.25 miles.
Score Quick was second in the Malibu, and after 2 traffic jams in the San Fernando, ended up 7th. But he had no trouble here in the Morvich last October, when he pressed the pace, then rolled on to victory. Sure, there's a question as to whether he'll get the 1.25 mile distance, but that's one reason we're getting such a nice price on Score Quick, today's Budweiser Long Shot.
And there is our Bud Long Shot Score Quick. He opened at 20. He is now 40-1. Dave Johnson, they have no respect for our Bud Long Shot pick here.
Well, you know, distance is certainly a big question here this afternoon. Only a couple horses in this race have ever raced 1.25 miles. And while we were talking with Mel Stute, we asked him about this horse at 40-1, Score Quick, and the 1.25 mile distance. Here's what he said.
I'm a little worried, but he's by a Northern Dancer horse, and they seem to go on. I believe the track is going to help him. He runs on anything, you know, mud, water, anything. He doesn't care. He just wants to run.
And speaking of the track condition, it has been upgraded to fast just in the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I had a little bit of rain yesterday. You take a look at the one-horse Golden Steel. He was second, Dave, in the San Fernando. What about his chance?
A very versatile horse who was racing in graded company in France. Only raced 3 times here. He can be up close to the pace or come from out of it. He was second, beaten only a half length by Helmsman in the San Fernando last out.
Right behind him is Pin Florin, the 2-horse. Dave, some real questions about him. Is he the horse that was so impressive in his dirt race at Bay Meadows, or is he the horse that was 6th in the San Fernando?
Well, I would say he's probably more like the horse at Bay Meadows, because that had to take something out of him when he was 6th in the San Fernando. So let's find out what Russell Bays can do with this French bred this afternoon. He is 16 to 1. That's a pretty, that's a pretty good price.
And although Afternoon Delights is now 8 to 5, this question remains: the 1.25-mile distance for him as well.
Right. And another horse who certainly is a long shot is Mr. Purple, who's trained by Ron McAnally, who won the Strub. That's number 5. He won this in '93 with Siberian Summer. And Alex Solis won this race with Darren Go last year. He is the pilot. He's 17 to 1. Ron McAnally tried this horse on the turf for several times, but you got to look back to last June and July. He ran a couple of dynamite races coming from just off the pace. Don't be surprised if Mr. Purple scores.
Keep an eye on the next one loading. The Key Rainbow 6. He comes from Bobby Frankel's barn. They're just about completed their loading. Let's go to the top of the stands for the Strub call. Trevor Denman.
Last few left to load now. Score quick going in. Mighty McGee second last. Once for the road, the last one. Chris Antley not riding now. Chris did ride earlier on today, but took off sick after the third. Once for the road in. They're all set. Field for the Strub Stakes, sent on their way to a perfect beginning. Mighty McGee won from the outside, and Score Quick in the gold cap. Score Quick goes on to lead them. Golden Steel down at the rail is right there in third, and Pin Florin. The field is all heading off towards the center of the track. Nobody's dropping down onto the rail. Once for the road is racing up on the outside to be fourth as Pin Florin, now back to fifth. Afternoon Delights is closest to the rail. He's back 6 lengths off the leaders. Helmsman's up alongside of him. A big gap is 6 to the Key Rainbow and Mr. Purple. They're a good 12 lengths off the leaders. The Strub Stakes heads past the 7/8 pole, and the long shot Score Quick is the leader by just over a length. Not going too fast. Mighty McGee is in second. Golden Steel has a good spot in third down at the rail. Once for the road on the outside, and Pin Florin between those two. Here's Afternoon Delights and Helmsman. They racing right alongside of one another, and they 6 lengths off these leaders. A big gap of 8 lengths back to the Key Rainbow, and another 5 to Mr. Purple. They head to the half-mile pole, and Score Quick relaxed, just taking them along at his own casual pace out here. Mighty McGee is in second. Then comes Golden Steel down at the rail. Once for the road's going to have to go wide. Pin Florin between horses. Afternoon Delights has plenty of room at the rail if he wants to go through, but now he's starting to lose a bit of ground as Helmsman runs up alongside of him in the red cap. The Key Rainbow has now been asked to run. He's got 12 lengths to make up, 5 back to Mr. Purple. They come to the quarter pole in the Strub, and now Score Quick is asked to go on. At the rail, Golden Steel, Mighty McGee. Afternoon Delights, nowhere to go at the rail. Helmsman in the white blinkers. The Key Rainbow's going to come with his run on the grandstand side. Helmsman in the white blinkers goes up to get the lead. The Key Rainbow extreme outside. Afternoon Delights is coming home gamely, but Helmsman has kicked away from them. And it's Helmsman and Chris McCarron in full flight for the wire, and they going on to win the Strub. Helmsman wins it from Afternoon Delights. A photo of Mr. Purple and Score Quick for third. The Key Rainbow was behind that.
Helmsman, the unofficial winner of the 1996 Strub Stakes from Horizon Stables, a partnership of folks put together by trainer Wally DeLasse, ridden by Hall of Famer Chris McCarron. And Chris McCarron has already had himself quite an afternoon and quite a weekend so far. Helmsman, the unofficial winner, Dave.
And he's already had himself a Strub winner with Ali Sheba back in 1988. But let's watch Chris McCarron roar from behind with Helmsman. Our Bud Longshot gave a tremendous performance at 40-1. Score quick in the yellow there, dropping back from second to third as Afternoon Delights with Kent DeSormo 8 up the ground, but not fast enough to beat Helmsman, a son of El Gran Senor, trained by Wally DeLassy. And what a meet Wally is having here as the top weight in the field, carrying 122 pounds, most of that being Chris McCarron, gets home to win the Strub.
Ireland's top-rated juvenile back in 1994. He's now 2 for 2 on the dirt of the USA. He won the second leg of the Strub in the San Fernando, and he now gets the big one, the $500,000 Strub, defeating Afternoon Delights as Burt Bacharach has 2 seconds this weekend. You're looking head on at the finish of the 1996 Strub Stakes on Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America, presented by Visa. And what a race it was for Helmsman. The former star of Ireland, Wally DeLassy, brought him over here for a partnership group called Hutcheson Stable that includes Wally along with Michael Jarvis, Lloyd Tabor, and Robert Oliver. He is 2 for 2 now on the dirt, winning the San Fernando and now the big one, the Strub Stakes. Trevor Denman takes a closer look at how he did it and how Afternoon Delights didn't.
Well, here's the key move right here. Chris McCarron is about in the middle of the pack there, the white colors with the red cap. He's going to move up to take fourth. Behind him, down at the rail, is Afternoon Delights. And the one place you didn't want to be here was at the rail. In third in the green colors is Golden Steel. Watch, he's going to hit heavy going as they turn for home and doesn't go on. Kent DeSormo knows he doesn't want to be here, but he can't get out. There's nothing he can do. Chris McCarron in the red cap has got him boxed in there. And now watch Helmsman in the white blinkers gets clear sailing here. Has got dead aim on the leader, score quick. But look at Kent DeSormo behind him. You see the right hand pulling on Afternoon Delights in the blue. Now he's trying to get him out. He eventually sees daylight out here, but Helmsman is already long gone, and Afternoon Delights running his heart out here, but Helmsman having the better trip. In fact, you can see Afternoon Delights even making up a bit of ground late, but Helmsman got the perfect trick, and that was the difference between winning and losing this afternoon.
Great comment by Wally DeLassy. They purchased Helmsman, an occurring group from Robert Sangster, following an off-the-board finish by Helmsman in the April 19th European Free Handicap at Newmarket last year. But following his win in the San Fernando and now the Strub, I think Wally DeLassy's comments are right. He said, I don't like to comment on what we pay for our horses, but I do think Mr. Sangster is a little embarrassed. What a victory for the Hutcheson Stable group of Wally DeLassy and for rider Chris McCarron, the Hall of Famer, who now has his third Strub victory. He won in 1985 on Ferdinand, won in 88 with Ali Sheba. Let's go to Dave Johnson.
And I'm here with Kent DeSormo, who finished second with Afternoon Delights in this one. Kent, we've got an isolated view of you down the backstretch. Tell us what was going through your mind at that point in the race.
Well, down the backside, there's a spot wide open on the rail, and I didn't want to take it. I didn't even want to attempt to get in there because, sure enough, I got hemmed in just for a couple strides or two, and there's no comparison. It is like 10 lengths slower down there on the field.
And every jockey knows that out there.
Everybody. I mean, there was a hole all the way around the racetrack for someone to go through, but no one would go through it because by the time you get in there and get out, the racetrack will have sucked you up and spit you back out.
And then through the stretch you were gaining, but not fast enough.
Well, certainly the other horse got first run through the way the race set up, and I don't think the horse opened up any ground on me, but unfortunately enough, like I said, he got first run. I'm looking for somewhere to go right here. I finally get out, and he sets the hammer down. I mean, he extends his stride, lengthens his stride, and goes after the horse in front of him. So gallant effort from him, and he's proved he can go 1.25 miles.
He certainly has. And anyway, there's Afternoon Delights. We'll see you again. We'll see you in a winner's circle real soon. Kent DeSormo, back to you, Chris.
Helmsman again, a $165,000 Keeneland Sales yearling purchased by Robert Sangster, then purchased privately by Wally DeLassy and his ownership group last year at Newmarket. Let's take a look now at the prices. It's official in the Strub. Helmsman at 1040, 440 and 3. Afternoon Delights, the favorite, runs second. Mr. Purple gets up ahead of our Bud Longshot for third, 202.76, the 1.25 mile time. They're celebrating here at Santa Anita, the Hutcheson Stable connections of Helmsman. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon at Santa Anita, the Strub Stakes is official. Helmsman the winner. Dave Johnson with a man who made it happen.
Overheard in the paddock. Well, first of all, here's the Wittenauer splits. half mile in 47.84, 3/4 111 and change, the mile in 136.83, and the finish 202.76. Overheard in the paddock, somebody asked Charlie Whittingham, who's Wally DeLassy? Charlie said, he's a guy who's paid his dues. It's fun today, though, isn't it?
That's for sure. We go back a ways, and I've been very fortunate lately. I've been very lucky here.
You've been lucky at this meet, but also talented. 4 of your first 5 wins this season were stakes races, and you add another one here.
I tell you, it's called a mini roll. A mini roll.
Mini roll, San Fernando, and then the Strub.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I got some good horses.
Let's take a look at the stretch drive. In this one, our Budweiser long shot, Score Quick, was on the front end. Wally, where are you, and what do you think?
Well, Chris rode this horse perfect. At this point, I was a little concerned because there were horses in front of him, and we got lucky and got through. Chris said he had a ton of horse at the top of the stretch.
Yellow saddlecloth, that's Chris with the helmsman?
Right, and the orange cap. And obviously, I didn't realize he'd handled this track so well because it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a little deep and tiring track. But obviously he was dead fit. My horse in the previous race obviously was blown like a house of fire, and he wasn't fit enough to run a good race.
What were your instructions to Chris?
I just said about 4 or 5 words, and that was, if he can get to the outside, he'll relax more. And that's all I told him. And this guy, he's ridden him many times, and you know how many champions he's ridden, and he did a great job today.
Wally, you did a great job preparing this horse helmsman for victory in the Strub. We'll go to Chris Lincoln. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, a good trainer has to also work with his owners, and I'll tell you, Wally's challenge here. Look at this group. Horizon Stable. I'm with Mr. Lloyd Tabor with his lucky winner's vest on here. Lloyd, tell us about Horizon Stable.
Well, Horizon Stables is a group that Wally put together for the sole purpose of bringing this horse out of Europe and making him a winner here. And I'll tell you this, he has done a beautiful job. And I might say, frankly, he kind of stole that horse for what's happened in the meantime. And we're awful happy with Wally and how he handles and how he does things. We're a great group, and we're happy as can be, as you can imagine.
Well, they are indeed. Mr. Tabor, everyone Horizon Stable, wave to America, folks. Congratulations. The big winners of the Strub Stakes here. We'll be back to wrap our day up. The first of our telecast in 1996. Stay with us here. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America, has been presented by Visa. Today's Strub and Hutcheson Stakes, brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. World Championship Wrestling, Super Brawl 6, live on pay-per-view Sunday, February 11th. By Wittnauer Watches, the perfect balance of hand craftsmanship and advanced technology. Wittnauer, the watchmaker's watch. And by Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. This Bud's for you. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 1,100 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. And back at Santa Anita, the host site of our racing doubleheader today. A reminder, next Saturday, join us at 2 p.m. Eastern. You want to set your tape players for this as well, our Eclipse Awards special. A review of the year just passed in thoroughbred racing, and a salute to our 1995 Eclipse champions. Now let's take a look at the full order of finish for the Strub Stakes. You know the top 3. Score Quick, our Bud Longshot, a very respectable 4th. The Key Rainbow from Bobby Frankel's stable running 5th. And rounding out our field here for the Strub, Golden Steel 6, once for the road, Mighty McGee, and Pin Florin, a disappointing 9th. Dave Johnson, some final thoughts on the day.
3-year-olds are going to be fun for the rest of the year. Don't give up on Unbridled Song. That was a big effort down in Florida on his way to Churchill Downs. There was a big matchup here in Los Angeles when Michael Jordan and the Bulls played Magic Johnson and the Lakers on Friday night. Didn't quite fulfill the promise, but sports fans love these showdowns. So get ready for the Santa Anita Handicap when Horse of the Year Cigar may meet Helmsman. The Strub has produced many big cap winners like Spectacular Bid and Best Pal and Ali Sheben Affirmed. I guarantee it'll be a great race. Catch it in person at the Great Race Place or on the Digest. Chris?
This probably hasn't been the best of weeks for Dick Mandela. Second was Sold Them Out in the San Antonio yesterday. Second with Afternoon Delights. And he retired the 3rd all-time leading money-earning thoroughbred, Best Pal. We asked him why the decision to make the retirement announcement this week.
Well, he ran a poor race in his San Pasquale, and he trained good up to it. And coming out of the race, we went over him with a fine-tooth comb and can't find any reason why he'd run bad. And with that, the owners the Maybes, Mr. and Mrs. Maybe, and myself and the manager all felt that it was best to let's don't push it one too many and have something happen that we'd feel terrible about. But it's a sad day when you quit training Best Pal, I'll tell you that.
Goodbye to a great star, Best Pal. Coming up next, final round of the Royal Caribbean Senior Golf Classic. Housman wins the Strub.